Welcome back to the Cat Knit Podcast. My name is Grace and today is Monday, October 1st. Happy October, everybody. This is a podcast about knitting and crafting and books and baking and cats and all the crafty things, especially since Christmas is coming up. But most importantly, knitting, because that is what I love to do the most. If you would like to follow me on any of my social medias, I have Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, and Ravelry. I am most active on Instagram, so if you want to go see what I am up to during the week, whether it be at the yarn store that I work at, the Modern Skein in Montgomery, Texas, the information that will be in the show notes, or just stuff that I get up to around my apartment with my husband. It's usually knitting related, or cat related, or baking related, and sometimes other things, but pretty much usually about knitting. So if you like that, you should definitely go and follow me. I will also have show notes for this episode if you are interested in any of the things that I will be talking about. The links to the things that I will be talking about will be in the show notes. I just repeated myself there. Apologies. If you are on YouTube, the link to my blog will be down below to go find these show notes, or if you're on my blog already, everything will be down below. I have a lot to share with you guys this week. It is very exciting. I have plans, I have knitting, I have more plans, and just discussion about the upcoming holiday season, which is very exciting. So, let's not wait any longer. So, if you'd like to grab something tasty to drink today, I am staying hydrated and drinking water. So if you want to stay hydrated, you can go grab some water or something tasty to drink, like coffee or tea or hot chocolate or whatever, or something to snack upon, or something to craft upon, and you can come back and join me for some crafty chat. Where's my straw? There's my straw. It's the 1st of October, everybody! Yay! Which means if you're me, you might start listening to a couple Christmas songs, maybe. Don't judge me. Makes me really happy. So I didn't listen to them a whole lot today. I've just listened to maybe about 4 or 5 of them. It's just so good. So good. But that also means that like fall decorations have come out. We've decorated an apartment with the few fall decorations that we have. I changed our wreath on our front door so it looks more autumnal. We have a little bat sign that says Happy Halloween that we can hang on our door. It's just very seasonally happy over here in the Wick household, which is just very exciting. So that is very fun. Of course, there's all the delicious fall autumnal desserts, and I have one to share with you today, which is very exciting. I literally baked it this morning after I worked out, because that's what you do. You work out early in the morning, and then you bake a dessert to enjoy later, and just, yes, because working out and baking just go hand in hand. So I have knitting to share with you that I've done this week. I also have more knitting planning. If you watched last week's episode, I discussed a lot at the end of how I use my passion planner to plan out my knitting, or how I'm going to do that in the future in the coming year, because I am starting a new passion planner. In fact, I started it this week because my old one did have like maybe 2 weeks left in it, but I really wanted to get this started because I am just raring to go. And as you can see, it's brown and it's got stickers on the back. So, but this is not the point of the podcast. We don't usually do this a whole lot, but I might add this because this is pretty cool. I also figured out how to do some watercoloring things in here using Crayola markers or water washable markers, and so I'm super happy with how it turned out. Like, it just made my creativity juices, heart flowingness. I was very excited. I was just very inspired once I figured out how to do it and get it to work, and I was able to do what things I already had, and it was just very exciting. So I will show you guys that later in the episode, and if you guys are interested in more detail, I might make a different, like a separate video that's not as long, just for the sake of keeping things separate. But I will go into my knitting planning in this episode because that is more relative. relevant to the podcast, because relevant is the correct word. So let's get into the knitting. So I have a new cast on for the store, and I have my test knit, and then also everyone, if you are aware, if you are on social media, knitting social media, you are part of the knitting community online, you might be aware that the West Knits Mystery Knit Along is getting ready to start, everybody. I did not participate, and I did participate last year. I did Marled Magic, and I'm doing it again this year. So I am super excited. I'm going to show you guys my yarn. I've had it picked up for a while. I posted a picture of it last week, I think, on my Instagram, so that was really exciting. Yeah, I'm just so excited. I haven't wound any of it up yet. I've refrained from doing the swatch, which I'll discuss once I show you the colors. But yes, it starts on Friday, and I am so excited, everybody. I'm so excited. What is really wonderful is gonna have to wait, because I'm gonna share it with you when I show you the colors, so because we don't want to get sidetracked, because I'm getting ready to talk about something else that's living in this massive bag. Change of subject. I have dubbed this WC Mercantile bag that's just so big and massive my test knitting bag. Because this is the bag that I've used for the past several test knits that I've done. And it works really well. It's very sturdy. It's very like burlappy. Obviously I got it from the WC Mercantile in Navasota, Texas. It doesn't have anything else on the back, but it's very sturdy. It's very wonderful. It holds so much, which is why I've been using it for my test knits. So everyone, I'm super happy with this. Okay, if you needed like an example of how much yarn this thing holds, it holds more than 3 skeins of massive Cascade Eco Wool skeins. And like, this is one of them that is much smaller than it was. And this was one of the ones that it was holding. So if that gives you any idea of how much yarn this thing can hold, plus a sweater, it's a great bag. I would assume they still sell that. I don't know. I got this a very long time ago. But anyway, having large bags just really helps. Anyway, that was not relevant to this particular project. So this is a test knit for Lindsay, or Bundle Handmade on Instagram and Ravelry. She is very sweet, and I'm super excited to be testing for her, and just get to work with the other group of ladies that we have in our little Instagram group. It's been so much fun. We've kind of created our own like little family of knitting the sweater, so I'm really enjoying it. I'm using Cascade Eco Wool, and this is the Campside, I think it's the Campside Heather colorway. It's very like cinnamony. It's very pretty, which is actually very perfect because the cardigan that I'm testing is called the Camper cardigan. And so it's very like campside, campfire, camper, whatever. So yes, I had a lot of this in my stash. I used this for my Cinnamon Girl when I tried to knit it before. It just wasn't working out, so decided to frog it a while ago, and I had it in my stash. This other dark color is the ebony color. Excuse me. And this is leftover yarn that I had from my Veronica cardigan. Yay for using old stash and leftovers, everybody. It's just such a wonderful feeling. So I have knit the body up to the sleeve divide. I've knit the 2 fronts, and I am now working on the back. So I am making good progress. There's something just so satisfying about ribbing. It's just so nice and neat. And there's that. So this is really good. This is going to be one of the fronts. And so all that leaves me left to do after I finish the back is the neckband thing and the sleeves. And because I use, I try and avoid using DPNs for sleeves, as I have mentioned many times before, because ladders are a pet peeve of mine. I hope to use 16-inch or 9-inch circular needles, which will make them go really quickly, which is very exciting. And yes, the neckband is all the way around the cardigan, so that will be a very, very long row. Very, very few long rows, but thankfully there's only a few of them. So that won't take very long, I don't think. But I'm on the homeward bound of this cardigan at this point. There's still plenty of time left. I'm really glad at how quickly this knit up. I got a fair amount of reading. What was I reading? I don't remember. It was something very, it was a young adult book. Anyway, I'll think of it in just a moment. But anyway, so I got some reading done while I was working on this. Also, it is a tradition, fun fact, let's have a little side note, story time. Last year, that's a little bit of backstory. So, if you were not aware, Sam and I will have been married for 2 years this coming January. So we have not been married for very long. So we have very few like traditions that we have come up to do together, which is totally fine because we've only been married for a year and a little bit more than a half. So it's not like we've had time to do that yet. So one of the things that we did last year and we're doing again this year is we are taking the month of October and we have created a list of scary, creepy movies, TV shows, documentaries to watch because it's just fun. Because why not? And so we have old things, old movies, like we actually got started ahead of time, so even though today is October 1st, on Saturday night we watched The House on Haunted Hill, which I believe came out in 1950 or 1960 or something like that. So we have old ones and then we also have more recent ones. I don't remember. I am really not up on scary movies at all. So I know that there's one that has someone named Mike Myers and he has a hockey mask, but I don't know the name of that movie. But I know it's a thing, so that's I get points for that, I think. So stuff like that. We do enjoy a good scary thing every now and again, and of course we will always finish with something lighthearted, whether it be Bob's Burgers or The Office or something that's gonna make us laugh and unwind the creepiness that has surrounded us for a while. And because of that, I get a lot of good knitting in. So I'm very excited about the this coming month and the movies that we'll be watching. If you guys are interested in that and what movies we are watching, I can share those with you if you are interested. If not, that's totally okay. My feelings will not be hurt. Because I know that not everybody's into scary movies. And some of them I wouldn't even necessarily describe as scary. I think I would just describe them as odd or weird or creepy. So it's just very entertaining, and sometimes with the older ones we spend, or I spend most of the time making commentary about how people are really dumb and the inconsistencies in the old movies. And Sam is a very good sport and puts up with it and sometimes laughs at my jokes. So that's really fun. Again, lots of knitting time, so I'm really excited to get progress on this, to also work on the mystery knit along, to also work on this other thing that I'm going to show you in just Christmas gifts, which are coming up, and I'm going to show you a little bit of that, which is just really exciting, also very daunting, but we're not going to worry about that in the moment because we're living in the moment. We're not living in December because it's not December, it's October, everybody. Let's not worry about things because it is not now. It's in the future. I don't know if that made sense, but my point is to not worry about things that you need to knit, that you should be knitting, so it'll be fine. It'll be fine. So this next thing that I'm going to show you, there are lots of fun little parts to this. I'm going to start off with my bag because I started off with the bag of the other thing. But But this was such a wonderful, sweet, sweet gift and a surprise from a friend of mine who I actually met in Paris when I was doing a study abroad there. I met her at one of the knit nights at Louis Vuitton, which is a yarn store that is connected to La Bien-Aimée. And so I met her there and I came back home. She moved to Houston and now makes the journey up to the Modern Skein up in Montgomery and comes and hangs out and does the sit and stitch. So it's pretty cool that we've come full circle again. We're now sit and stitch buddies, and that's really, really wonderful. But anyways, she took a trip back to Paris recently, and she came back and she gifted me with a La Bien-Aimée bag. And when she gave this to me, I was just so blown away. I could not believe it. I've really wanted one of these bags for so long, and I was just so excited and so surprised. I had no idea, and it was just so amazing. So this is holding a store sample slash class project sample or something like that. Also inside this inside this bag, I was looking at a needle packet. That's probably why I said packet. The pockets, the inside of this is just so nice. I know there's just knitting and stuff, but there's like so many pockets and they're so high quality, and it's just like, this is the best bag ever. And it's like goldy. It's just so pretty. So yeah, Jennifer, if you're watching, thank you again so much. I am just so excited to use this bag. I cannot believe it. So, let's go back to the class bit of this project. If you are in the area, and if you are looking for Christmas presents to make for people and you have no idea what to make or how to start or what to look for, we are going to have a Christmas gift class on, I'm now blanking on the date, and that is very unfortunate. I'm going to go find it really quickly so I can tell you guys. I do apologize. So it's the Christmas gift class is on October 27th from 1 to 4. I will be teaching that. We will be offering 3 different projects for me to help you like pick out yarn. If you want to bring yarn, if you want to bring your own needles, that is wonderful. Or if you want to just get your stuff at the store, that is more than welcome, very encouraged, and so that way we can help you do that. But, so one of the things that I will be showing you guys or just teaching you is it's called the Beginner's Brioche Scarf by Lavanya Patricella, something like that. I don't know which one it is. I know I say that every single time. So it's just very simple. It's a very chunky brioche knit. I was originally going to be doing it in just the lime green and the blue color. They are actually special souvenir skeins from Boston that my mom brought me back at some point, and I was going to use just those 2. But I realized that I really wanted this scarf to be long, and so I decided to make this a stash busting scarf, because that's what I'm all about now, is stash busting and being on a yarn diet and not buying yarn and all that jazz. So that's what I'm doing. So this bag is full of like chunky, just any kind of weight really, because I know I can hold stuff double and make it work. So yeah, I am going to make it super, super long. I'm also going to add fringe. The pattern calls for a fringe on the end, and so it looks just super cool. I also happened to snag it when she published it and actually got it for free. She offered it as a free download for like the first maybe 24 hours or something like that. So it is currently $5. I think the pattern is $5, but I happened to snag it for free, which is wonderful. Which again is just like really in line with my stash busting, not paying money for stuff, and kudos for me for using patterns I already had in stash yarn. So I really like it. I'm really excited to use up all these yarns and just put random colors together. I feel very, very Stephen Westy with this. Part of me is a little uncomfortable with like the no color plan, but also part of me is just like, who cares? Who cares? Just do whatever feels good, and if you want to change colors, and if you don't. It's okay. But obviously the rows are so short, so it goes so quickly. I actually knit, I'm part of, our church has a women's Bible study that meets weekly on Thursdays, but the last week we have like a big get-together of the evening and morning group. And so this past week was a big get-together. And I knit maybe like that much upwards at this gathering. And that was also including talking and not knitting and stopping and changing colors and all that jazz. So it's a very, if you are comfortable with brioche, it's a very good mindless knit. If you are not comfortable with brioche, this is a wonderful, wonderful beginning knit to learn how to do brioche. And just kind of like, yeah, you have a loud engine. Nobody cares. Nobody cares. Okay, I do apologize. If you are not comfortable with brioche, this is a wonderful, such a good pattern to start, especially with like 2-color brioche. And also if you just want to like, if you haven't had a lot of experience with color changing brioche, another really good pattern to experiment with it. As you can tell, I have not changed the blue, so it's the same, which is crazy how it changes the hue of that blue. It looks more greeny down here, but up here it's more of like the actual blue that it really is. And then on the other side, obviously I changed from the lime green to the pink. This was the same pink that I used for that pom-pom for the barley hat, which is pretty cool. So, again, more stash yarn. So yeah, I have lots of fun stuff in here. I have more stuff that I pulled out that's sitting on the couch. But yeah, I have just a lot of random things, and like this old, again, this was used in the pom-pom that I made. This is technically a DK weight, but I feel like I could just hold it double or even triple and it would be fine. The pattern calls for a 13. I'm technically using a 15, but it was the needle that I grabbed that I could see because I wanted to cast this on. It works just super well. I'm loving it. It's great. Would highly recommend. Also, if you just want to like come and take the class, that would also be wonderful. If you really just don't have any idea what you want to do, we will be offering this scarf. I will also be teaching you how to make like a little mug warmer thing that has a button so you can change it from mug to mug, which is really nice. Mug, words. And then we will also be showing you guys how to make a little sunglass case, which is also really good for your scraps. So if you have any kind of scraps or whatever that you want to knit with, or if you have particular colors that you want to bring or buy for a particular person in your life for a Christmas gift or a birthday gift, doesn't have to be Christmas. It could be any holiday. And we will help you, or I will help you, because I'll be teaching the class. And again, it's on October 27th from 1 to 4. All the information of that will be on our website, or if you come into the store, we will have flyers. So that would be wonderful, and I would love to see you there. That would be wonderful. How many times can I say the word wonderful? I don't know. Oh well. It's time for Mystery Knit Along time. I feel like I should come up with like a jingle or something for that, because it just seems very jingle appropriate. Maybe? I don't know. So, all of this, except for one skein, is very old stash, like several years old stash. Multiple 4 years stash. So I'm feeling pretty good about this. One of the skeins, one out of the 5 skeins is new, and I got it before I said I was going on a yarn diet. So No judgment. Don't judge me. This was before I said I was going on a yarn diet. So, and it also, I'm just so excited about this. I just can't get my words in order. I saw this. I don't have any of this really in my stash. Any kind of this particular yarn is being knit into things. I do not have a lot of this. And so I needed some to make this item, this mystery knit along. I needed some mohair, everybody. I don't have a lot of mohair. If I have mohair, like I said, it's being knit into things. So once I'm done with those things, I have a little bit of it left, but not enough for a mystery knit along, everybody. So again, don't judge me. I know you guys aren't judging me. I know you love me anyway, because we all have the same problem. We all have this problem with buying yarn. We all understand. It's okay. So, this is living in a bag that I have been prepared. I got this all ready to go. And this is going to be hard to show you with one hand. This is from the trip that my parents took up to Boston for one of my cousin's weddings this past year, sometime this past year. Man, when was that? I don't remember. It was earlier this year, but my mom got me a bunch of yarn, which is wonderful, and she also brought me back this bag. So I'm very excited to be using this bag. I really like it, and it is home to my mystery knit along, everybody. I'm so excited. I cannot wait. Okay, so let's go back. At the beginning of the episode, I mentioned that I wasn't going to swatch. There are pros and cons to swatching this. I completely understand. In general, you should swatch things like sweaters. You should swatch things like sweaters. I feel like sweaters are the main thing that you need to swatch. Am I good about doing that? No. Which would make you think, or make me think, that if I'm not good about swatching something that needs to be swatched, I'm gonna be really bad about swatching something that doesn't really need to be swatched. AKA a shawl. So I am just not going to swatch. Also, I should mention that the point of this swatch for the mystery knit along is not necessarily to get gauged. That is not the point. The point is to see how your colors go together. And that totally makes sense. Awesome. But I feel like if I look at my colors too much and I'm like thinking about it, I will overthink it and I will not like my colors anymore. And I really just don't want to do that. I also want it to kind of be a surprise, just to kind of add that into the mystery. What are my colors going to look like together? I have no idea. All I know is that I like them together, and that's wonderful. I think that's awesome. And I just don't want to like kind of take away or cause me to be stressed about this, because this is not supposed to be stressful. This is not supposed to be a mental burden. This is not supposed to be an unhappy event. You want this yarn to really speak to you and to really just like blow you away. And currently, and I'm sure it will continue to be this way because I will not overthink this, currently these colors blow me away. I love these colors together. And so, you're probably all thinking, just show your colors already, because that's all we really care about. I will show you, if I can hold them all up, are these guys. And everything's very blown out. I do apologize. If you're looking for a more accurate picture, please go to my Instagram. Man, this blue is really just not very accurate. That's very unfortunate. So, like I said, very old stash. This is Kitten, which is Madeline Tosh Mo Light, which I take that back. That is not 4 years old, but that is a good 2 years old. I have then a very special skein. This is my first ever skein of Stranded Dye Works, who is Amy. She also has a podcast called The Stranded Podcast. She is a wonderful, wonderful woman. She's just a very sweet friend and very funny, amazing dyer. This is the street art colorway, which I don't know if she does anymore. But, so this was one of my first ones. And I'm so glad to be using this in something special. My third one, this might be 4 years old. I got this when we were traveling to Austin at one point, and we went to the Hill Country Reavers, and I was like, Yarn Carnival? I've never heard of them before. That's cool. So I got it. And this happens to be something called Bottle Tree. And like I said, this is like, if you were a Doctor Who fan, this will make sense. This is like the most brilliant TARDIS blue ever. This is like the perfect TARDIS blue, maybe a little bit more electric. If you are not a Doctor Who fan, I don't know. It's just like a really, really amazing cobalty blue that's very like striking and electric looking. It's not periwinkle or whatever it's showing up on the camera. Granted, it might show up different on the computer, so we'll see. But yes. And then my third color is actually Hedgehog Fibers. This was one of my first Hedgehog Fibers that I got. I got it from a kit, and I do not remember what colorway this was. But yes, and it is very blowing out. It's not that in person at all. So that is really exciting. I'm loving these. And for the fifth color, you have a skein of mohair. And this is the skein that I got. And so this is going to be my first ever skein of Suburban Stitcher. I have 2 other skeins of hers, but they will be in a different project. So this is her mohair that I'm going to be using. And I'm very excited about it. This is her Dandaya? Dandaya. I think it's what it says. Dandaya. So yes, I am very excited about this combination. I think it'll be beautiful. Beautiful. He being Stephen West, the shawl master that he is, I apologize for my squeaking chair, he said that you could use, he called for melted baby suri in his shawl, in which case you would have 2 skeins, I think. Or you could hold 2 strands of mohair together, or you could just do 1 strand of mohair for a more lacy effect. And there are children home from school and they're being very loud. I do apologize. So I went for the more lacy effect. I just got 1 skein also because at the time it was like, okay, I'm beginning a yarn diet. I'm wanting to do that, so maybe don't spend too much money. Let's keep it to a minimum. And I'm really looking forward to that. I think it'll be amazing, and yeah, I think it'll be different. I don't think, granted, I don't know what everyone else is going to do, but I feel like people will be more drawn to doing like the thicker one where you hold 2 strands, or doing the melted baby suri. And so mine will be different. And I really like that. So I'm super, super looking forward to doing that. It starts on Friday. If you want to join in and you want to get all the clues, go to his Ravelry page and you can sign up. All you have to do is just buy the pattern, and you will get updates every Friday in the month of October of the pattern updates. There will be 4 clues. We have no idea what it looks like. And if you are not a knitter, or if you are not familiar what a mystery knit along is, that means that we have no idea what it looks like. The only instruction that we have gotten is to how to pick out our yarn and how to kind of arrange it. And we know it'll be a shawl. We know it will be similar in size to his past shawls, such as Specklin Pop and Vertices Unite. So that is basically all we are given. We do not know what kind of techniques will be in the shawl. We do not know if there's going to be brioche. I think he said that there actually will not be brioche, which is kind of astonishing for Stephen West, but so it's super, super exciting. I am really looking forward to it. My mom has her colors picked out.
we FaceTimed at one point, and we picked out colors out of her stash. So she's using old stash, and that's really wonderful. We are stash busting this mystery knit along, so that's really exciting. So next week I will have stuff to show you, because so the first clue comes out on Friday, and then I work all day on Saturday, so I'm hoping to get a good chunk of that done. Who knows, maybe even finish the whole clue. You never know with Stephen West how big these clues are going to be. So that's really exciting, and I'm looking forward to sharing with you my progress. So, knitting planning. That can mean a lot of different things to a lot of different people, but so I'm going to explain to you how I have done it this past week and how I plan to effectively knit my projects, finish my works in progress, knit through my stash, effectively buy yarn for new projects, and just be more mindful about my knitting and my projects. So you can do this pretty much in any kind of notebook or whatever kind of planner you like. I just happen to have a passion planner, and I think it works the best for me. If you are in the market for a new planner, I would highly recommend a passion planner. Last week I went on a pretty long rant about how amazing they are. Yeah, if you're in the market for a new one, go check it out. They're really wonderful. They also, if you go and you see that the prices are a little bit higher, because they are a little bit more expensive, if you do follow their Instagram or whatever, they do flash sales very regularly. So if you are looking for something and it just happens to be out of your budget, which I totally understand, because they are a little bit more expensive, just wait. And they'll put stuff on sale. Sometimes it'll be 50% off, sometimes it'll be 25%. It happens very regularly. So I would definitely keep an eye out for that if you would like to try one of these out. So yes, I have started my new passion planner, everybody. I'm just so excited. I have been using the bigger ones for the past 2 years, and so this is my first year going to the compact size. Recently they came out with a the Passion Planner Pro, which is slightly bigger than this, but not as big as the old massive one. So, or the classic, I guess. So I guess it really just depends on what you need. I actually, I have two. I had this one and I have a black one that I both got for free. Actually, because this one came, or no, my black one came free because I had referred 3 people at some point or other, and they input my email address, which was really very kind of them. So you get a free passion planner that way. And then there were problems with the passion planners, or the passion planner that I got for last year, and so they were very kind and their customer service was amazing, and they sent out free passion planners to those who were having issues with theirs, which I was. So I happened to get 2 free ones, and I'm looking forward to using these. So yes, I'm excited. So I don't know when I'll try out the Pro size. I might try out the Pro in several years when I run out of passion planners, but I don't know. So like I said, I figured out how to do some watercolor. I will save that for another video because that's just very special and I want to give it its own moment. But let's get to the non-passion planner necessarily items, places, things. You can do this on regular paper, printer paper, notebook paper, notebooks, sticky notes, any kind of paper, your phone, your computer, your arm, maybe not your arm, but anywhere you can write things, basically. That would be very odd. You'd be walking around with a big list of knitting things on your arm, and people would ask you what it was, and you could reply with, "It's my knitting to-do list." Yes, that's very odd. Anyway, so I came up with 3 separate lists, and also Christmas knitting, which I will discuss in just a moment. In the back of the Passion Planner, we have spaces where there's blank pages, and we also have space where there is grid pages.
And so I use the grid pages because I can never write in a straight line. It always goes up or down at some point, and so I wanted this to look neat and tidy, and so I went for the grid. And I've always had that problem. So my first list, as you can see here, is entitled Whips 2018 through 2019. And I then proceeded to list all the works in progress that I know that I have on the needles. Is this a lot? Yeah, but a lot of these are actually very, very close to being done. And so that is very exciting. I feel like knowing that some of these are very close to being done, it's a little less overwhelming. And so I am going to, I only have this page and this page to fill out, but obviously I'm sure I will have more projects between now and this time next year, so I'm going to just move on as time goes by. But I didn't want to like leave blank pages because I didn't know how many I would use up, so I just went ahead, flipped the page, and came up with my next list, which is projects to knit in 2018 through 2019. And what makes this list very special and very specific is I may only put this project on this list if I have the yarn ready to go. Like if I have already purchased this yarn and it's ready to go, it's in the bag, like the Mystery Knit Along. That would be a very good example of what will go on this page. Or like I have my Zweig yarn that's sitting over on my desk, just right over here. That is on this list. I have my Free Your Fade yarn, which is again right over here on this list. I have the Hipster shawl, which I have yarn for that my mom got for me from Boston, that's on this list. And I also have a couple things on here that I plan to use half like stash yarn and like half of yarn that I got recently. For example, I want to make the challah hat, which is the hat that is going around currently that is being made, that's like super puffy and very thick and made out of melted baby suri. But you have like a mohairy yarn, and then you hold 3 strands of a fingering yarn together and you do brioche, and it's a beautiful hat. I didn't want to get the 3 skeins of fingering because, hello, I have all this. So what I did is I just said that I want to make the challah hat. I have the mohair all ready to go, and I just put stash. So if that is a confusion thing. So yes, I will only put the thing on this list. This is not a queue. This is not things that I want to make. It's things that I have available ready to go. And I feel like this is going to be a game changer for me. I was speaking to my mom about this recently. And after I had come up with this, and we were discussing how this is going to go. And I've actually already made a mistake on here because, well, maybe, I don't know. Because I really want to make the Ingalls sweater by Caitlin Hunter, and I know that I want to use hand spun for the color work up top, but I don't know what I want to use for the rest of the body, and I just put question marks, and I don't think that that is a good idea. Because technically I'm not ready to go for that one. I can't like just go and wind up my yarn for it. I can't see the list and be like, oh, I want to make the Ingalls sweater, I want to cast on now. I put it on this list, so therefore it must be ready to go. Because it's not. So maybe that doesn't apply. But if I say I finish something on my whips list, finish 2 things, whatever, I am feeling really good about myself. Or I'm just having a bad day, bad week, whatever, and I'm like, I just need to cast something on. I can go to this list and be like, oh yeah, I have yarn for this project. I want to make a shawl. I feel really bad today. I just want to like start a new shawl for whatever reason. I can look at this list and pick out the yarn. For example, I have the yarn for All the Angles by Stephen West all ready to go. It just needs to be wound up and the needles found and the pattern gotten, but I feel like that doesn't really count because that's very easy to do. But I have the yarn. And so
if I do happen to be like in the cast on, if I have super bad cast-on-itis, which is when you want to cast on all the things very badly, if you are not aware of that knitting term. If I have that really bad, I will come to this list and be like, okay, I'm not going to go searching for a new pattern. I'm not going to go searching for new yarn. I'm going to knit through this list, and it's going to be really good. And I'll get things done, and I'll get things knit. And if I have a pattern that I know of a certain stash yarn that I can use, I will list that specifically. Because if it's a little bit more broad, like the holla hat, because I haven't decided that yet. But if it's something that it's like, oh, well, I know I had this DK weight, like from Madeline Tosh that I've never used, and I also want to make this hat, that's perfect. I can just go ahead and write down here the pattern name, the yarn, and the colorway, so I'll know what I want to make. That makes sense? So that is what it looks like. This is what this looks like. So yes, I hope it's going to be kind of like, actually let me show you the last list because that will make more sense. So this last list is not quite finished yet. It's a work in progress. I've done half of the work. So the name of this list is the Knitting Wardrobe 2018 through 2019, or plans. So this might be, I also wrote on these lists the criteria of things, so I can, if I don't know what to put on this list, I will ask myself these questions. Number 1 is, what do I use the most out of things that I knit? Number 2 is, what do I love knitting the most? And number 3, how can I most effectively use my stash? So, sometimes I don't really understand my thought process on this thing, but I think it's because I haven't finished it all yet. So what I did was I wrote down things that I really like making. So number 1 would be cardigans. I love making cardigans. More specifically, I like making cardigans with color work. And if it's a pullover, I don't like those as much as cardigans, I should say. I do enjoy a good pullover, but I prefer cardigans because hello Houston. If it's a pullover, is it possible to steek it? Can I make it a cardigan? Can I make it so I will enjoy it and wear it more? And also, like, increase my steeking skills, because that's always a big plus. I also put that I like hats. If I need to make a hat, I would prefer to have around 4 or 5 hats to pick from. Maybe that's too many, especially for Houston, but I really, really enjoy making hats, so I feel like that's a fair number. I'll probably end up making more than 4 or 5 hats, but don't judge me. So I love making shawls. I want to use my love of shawls to knit up my stash. I want to make more worsted weight shawls. So for example, the Sylvia McFadden and all of her shawls. So that is an example of things that I want to do. I want to, in regards to cowls, which I also love, basically I'm listing all the things that I make. There will not be socks on this list because I'm not into making socks. Maybe someday again, I don't know. I feel like that is just not my thing. I prefer making other things, and life is too short to knit things that you're not into. So, cowls, in regards to cowls, I really want to make more drapey accessories that can be kind of like almost like a necklace or something like that. I also like the ideas of thick colorwork ones, so ones that are knit very similar to my Sucker Punch cowl that I just finished with the Noro. Stuff like that just makes me so happy, and so I feel like having written this down will remind me, if I am looking for something, will remind me of the criteria. This is dumb, I should put this over here. It will remind me of the things that I really like and what I really enjoy, because I feel like I get so distracted by all the fun things on Ravelry. I will see things and it's like, ooh, that has lace, ooh, that has color work, ooh, that has cables. I want to make it all. And that's wonderful. I would love to make it all at some point, but there are certain things that appeal to me more than others, and I forget that when I see all these things. And I'm like, oh, I love lace. And it's like, no, you actually really don't love lace as much as you think you do. You love color work so much more. Do more of that. Don't do lace as much because you don't like it as much. That's not to say that I don't like lace, because I do. But that, as an example, that would be that. So another thing is that I want to use up my handspun. It is out of shop, but I have a huge basket of handspun that's sitting right up there. You can't see it, but it's right up there. And I have so much more handspun that I really just want to use. And that goes back to shawls, hats, and mittens or fingerless mitts, also cowls. I also just rewrote that I really liked colorwork sweaters. If they're cardigans, that's wonderful. If not, can I steek it? And then scarves, I prefer big and bulky scarves or stripy scarves. So this is what I have so far. And what I plan to do is to take each one of these categories and just break it down and then write in stuff that I really, really want to make. So if I'm like, oh, I could really go for making a hat, or I could really like, let's go back. Okay, so if I cannot find anything on my projects to knit list, if I am just like really just struggling to find something to make, I will go to the next page and I will be like, oh, I really want to make a hat. And so then I'll flip to the hat page, which I have not created yet, but I'll flip to the hat page and I will hopefully have listed some go-to hats that I know that I will always like. So, does that make sense? I hope that makes sense. And I'll do that for all of them. So there will be the cardigans one, there'll be hand-spun patterns that I think will be really good, cowls, shawls, colorwork sweaters. I think that is going to be, that is really something that I want to do this coming year. And at the end of this year, I have yarn for Winterfell, which is at the top of my to knit list. That was literally the first thing that I wrote down because I have the yarn for it. It's ready to go. So that's really exciting. So what I'm thinking is that I can, this will be, I don't know. What am I trying to say? So if I'm like, I'm just piddling around during the day, or if I'm trying to get ready for work tomorrow, and I'm like, I don't know what to bring. Let's just imagine a time I don't have a test knit, because that's never going to happen. Yet, let's just be honest. If I don't have any kind of like dedicated knitting homework that needs to be done, if I'm like, I have no idea what I want to bring tomorrow, what am I in the mood to knit? I don't know what all I have because it's all put away over there in our living room, and so I can't really see it. I can just come to my page over here and be like, oh, I'm also working on the brioche bandana. I didn't remember I was working on that. That's super cool. I also need to finish Ho-He's Mystery Knit Along, the starting point that was last year. That also needs to be done. Okay, that's cool. I have 2 big projects to work on tomorrow at work. Job done. As I go through this, I can cross stuff off. What? I can cross stuff off. I do apologize. And then I can go to my projects to knit, pick one of these things, and move it over to my whips. And I will not have bought any new yarn. Maybe I would have bought a pattern. If that. Like, how cool is that? I actually have a lot of these patterns already, so it's like pretty awesome. If I can't find anything on here, or if this list is getting low, I can go over to the next page for my knitting wardrobe and go into each category. Do I want to make a hat? Do I want to make a cowl? Is it in a shawl that I'm in the mood for? I don't know. I have options. So, that was a bit rambly, a bit ranty. I do apologize. I hope that made sense. That just would make sense to me. I really think this will be very helpful. We'll see throughout the year if this goes. Also, I do realize it's very odd to start a planner in October, but that's just how it worked out with my other one. I finished it in October, the first one, and so I had to get a new one for October and blah, blah, blah. So October is the starting date for me, opposed to January. So I'm really excited about this. I will keep you guys updated on this and what kind of stuff I add. Also, when I go into greater detail about like the different categories, what kind of stuff I will include for that. If you guys are interested in seeing what I think is a good staple pattern for handspun, or a good staple pattern for hats or mitts or whatever. So, let me know, and I can share that with you for sure. In addition to that, after all that, I did my Christmas planning, everybody. So much planning. As I'm losing my shawl. I'm very proud of myself. I'm very proud of myself. I'm not going to show you guys in too great a detail because I know some of these people watch the podcast, and so I do not want to share with you or them what they're getting for Christmas. But, like, here we have the to knit to craft list. Here we have where to buy the yarn. Here we have the other things. And then over here we'll have a total. And, like, this is everybody that needs gifts. My family, in-laws, a little bit of an extended family as well. How cool is that? I feel very good about this. I did this last year in my other passion planner, and it worked out very, very well. So yes, I have fun things in the work to knit for people. I hope to be doing a lot of mindless knitting, because that is pretty much the best, I think, for Christmas gifts, because then you can do other things while you do this mindless knitting, and it's not like I'm dedicating thousands of hours of my time to this one particular person, and that feels a little much. So I can also read, and I can also do work, and I can also do other things while I am working on Christmas gifts. So that is very good. That is not to say that I'm not happy to knit for people, because I love knitting for people. I only do it around Christmas time, or if someone asks me to. So this is the time of the year to shine and use the passion planner to its full advantage and really plan out Christmas knitting. So I'm very excited about this. Do you have your Christmas knitting planned? Because I feel so good about this. Also, West knits are the best knits. Gotta have that sticker on your planner or on something. I also have Yeti's Grind, which is the coffee shop up in Vail. A Vail sticker, and then a Golden Bear sticker. So I hope to add to this, which is very exciting. I have fun things planned. No pun intended, because this is a planner, but I just have a lot of fun things in store, things that I want to do. And I know it's much more possible with the passion planner. So again, I have fun stuff in here. I'll probably do a separate video. I don't know when that's going to come out, but it'll have some kind of fun video about how I do my watercoloring stuff. I'm not very good at it. I'm not very good at it, but I'm just kind of playing around. And I think that's so much fun, and I really, really love doing it. It just makes me so happy. So that is all I have to say about my passion planner and my passion knitting plan. And I hope that you guys really found that helpful, maybe, or interesting at least. Maybe you have your own knitting plan already, and that is wonderful. I'm so glad you found something that works for you. I'm gonna try something that maybe will be a little bit more effective, because whatever I did last year did not work. I don't think I actually did anything last year, but I don't know. So that's very exciting. Let me know if you want to hear more about just knitting planning in general. If you want me to go into certain details, or if you have any questions about that, I would love to answer your questions, because I've mentioned, and if you can't tell, I love planning. I love it a lot. So much. So yes, if you have any questions about anything like that, please send me a message, comment, do whatever. I would love that. Love that, love that. So, we have come to the end of the podcast. I also don't want it to be super long because my editing time this week is very short, so that's a thing. But, if you would like to follow me on any of my social medias, I have Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and Ravelry. I would love for you to follow me on any of those things, but I am most active on Instagram. If you'd like to go follow me over there, see what I get up to, that will be awesome. If you're interested in any of the things that I've talked about, like passion planners, that would be wonderful. Then you can check out the show notes. If you are on my blog, everything will be down below, or if you are on YouTube, the link to my blog will be down below. If you are interested in any of the information about the store that I work at, the Modern Skein in Montgomery, Texas, all the information to that, such as the website where you can buy stuff from, or the Instagram where we post updates about classes and stuff, that will be in the show notes as well. So if you are wanting to go check that out, please do. I hope you have had a wonderful weekend, and I hope you continue to have a wonderful week. If you have crafty plans, I hope that they are successful. If you are planning on casting on for the Mystery Knit Along, I hope you have a wonderful time, and let me know if you're gonna do it. Send pictures, whatever, post pictures. I will definitely be posting pictures of mine. You can definitely be guaranteed of that. So super excited for that on Friday. I'm also teaching a beginning knitting class on Friday as well, so that's cool beans. Also hope to make good progress on my test knit this coming week and get that close to being done. That will be wonderful. I will be super ahead of the game in regards to past test knits that I've had. So that's really exciting. I really appreciate you coming and spending some time with me and just hanging out and listen to how I feel about planning my knitting and how that can really like change my knitting life and blow my knitting mind. Hopefully that will be helpful for you too. That might be wonderful. I hope that was helpful. And yes, so next week, who knows what kind of planning stuff I'll have. I might work on that more or whatever, and just share my progress with you. Maybe plan out how I want to divide that up throughout the months. So I can have the plan in the back, but I also will have like a more like doable plan that I can put in the weekly pages and the monthly pages. I might share that next week. So also we'll hopefully work on the video of like watercoloring and decorating my passion planner and stuff like that. If you were interested in planning with me videos, that would be what it would be like. I have no idea. We'll wait and see. Who knows? So again, I appreciate you guys spending some time with me, and I guess I'll see you guys next week. Bye!